Folks, we are so glad that you are here this morning because the young man to my left and that you see right now is an individual that I think not only has brought smiles to this Greenville Independent School District, but he's brought a lot of knowledge, a lot of encouragement. And Doctor, we are so glad that you are here with us this morning.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So tell us a little bit. So this school year has been like no other.
No other.
No other. So thank you for
lightly.
stepping up to the plate and going to bat for our kids and for the things that they needed to wrap up this school year. So now we're at summer, but we're still dealing with graduation, right?
Yes, you're absolutely right. It has been like no other. This is my 20th year in education as an educator, and it's just out of the blue. No one expected it, and so we're really. And this is actually our last week of school, so kids are still technically working this week. Thursday's our last day of school, and Friday is graduation. We've really done a lot to make sure that our kids get to have a special graduation and to make sure that
Absolutely.
we're able to honor them. In the beginning, we weren't sure if we were going to be able to do it or not. So the governor came out a couple weeks ago and changed the date to where you can have an outside full graduation to May 29th, which is actually the day where it was originally planned. So that worked out wonderfully. Our students were very excited about it, but I think our principal, Heath Jarvis, was even more excited about it, just because not only did they not just get to say goodbye to each other, they didn't get to say goodbye to their principal or their teachers. It all started, as you may recall, we left for spring break, fully anticipating coming back. And I remember the Thursday of spring break is when things started really getting serious. Mm-hmm. And I called the Friday of spring break and all of the principals and we really just sat down and figured out what are we going to do moving forward. And we hadn't been open since. And so, yeah.
Yeah. So they left for spring break. They were like, yes, it's spring break. They didn't get to do the whole, last day of school and say goodbye to everybody and write on T-shirts and yearbooks and all the things. And so I'm glad that it has opened up and that you guys are able to put together a graduation ceremony of sorts. I know it looks a little different than maybe originally planned. And so tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, it does. In fact, we're limiting it to 5 students. The governor actually did a great job of taking the pressure off of me as a superintendent or the pressure off the principal. He made it very clear what the guidelines were for a graduation. And so it's 5 people per student, and they are sitting in what we're calling family pods. So each student will get 1 ticket, and their family, their 5 guests, should come in together with that 1 ticket, and they'll be seated in a pod, an area of the bleachers that are 6 feet away from another family or guest pod. And we're trying to make sure that we're asking everyone to wear a mask, and we're going to have lots of signage that are informing people if they have any of the symptoms that are associated with COVID-19 to stay away. Our kids hadn't seen each other since March, and so technically they're supposed to stay away from each other.
Oh, that's going to be
a lot of elbow bumping. Elbow bumping.
So good luck with that one.
Yeah, and here's the thing: just like with any other virus or things like that, you do want to stay home. If you're feeling sick or feverish or feel like that you may have been exposed, stay home, and let those people who may not be feeling that way go out and enjoy this. Now, you guys, are y'all broadcasting this?
We are.
What I understand?
In fact, it will be broadcast live on Facebook.
And Friendly News.
Yes,
I knew that was coming.
And we're really looking forward. I think we've done some things a little differently for this class to make it a little bit more special. And we have a big surprise at the end for them.
Oh boy!
And so it should be something memorable. I tried to convince them before we thought we were going to be able to have a graduation that they could be unique from any other class before them or after, but they didn't buy it. They really wanted their graduation.
You always want what you can't have, right?
Yeah.
and I think that this school year will absolutely be memorable. You know,
Indeed.
there's some classes that to get to open up new schools or get to be the last of a school or the newest of this. And so this school year definitely will be different for everyone. It will be memorable, but we love you guys.
There's the word. There's the word.
You guys have adapted and overcome. I'm sure nobody is TPing houses this year or doing those kind of things since we're having a little bit of a shortage. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You guys have adapted. You guys have overcome, and you guys are delivering for the students. And so I want to say thank you to Greenville ISD, but I also want to say a special thank you to all the educators all over the United States, all over the world who have, taken this head on and made the best out of the situation. It may not have been the best situation, but we've made the choice to make the best out of the situation.
Well, I commend you, Doctor, and the teacher, the staff, everyone involved in Greenville Independent School District, because you've stepped up to the bat and you've thought about the children. You've thought about what your position has been in the community, and now people understand that you are the leaders of our education here in our community.
Yes, well, thank you. Our teachers have just been so impressive.
Absolutely.
They left just as the students expecting to come back to work the following week. And for us to be able to transform education, start teaching online, teaching over the phone, teaching in a variety of different manners in order to make sure our students continue to learn. And they did that immediately and have just done a great job. And so I'm very pleased. We have some of the most talented and dedicated teachers.
Can I also interject? Ms. Lopez and Ms. Miller being chosen Teachers of the Year this year? Yes. What an honor! What an honor it is.
Yeah, we've had to really figure out how to do things differently, because this time of year we do a lot of different celebrations. Graduation obviously is our Super Bowl of celebrations, but I mean, we have Teachers of the Year, we have retirement receptions, we have just lots of end of the year things when people have met milestones with 5, 10, 15 years in the district. We have celebrations for all of those things. Scholarships. There's been so many different things that we've just had to adjust how we're going to do it. In fact, last week, I spent a full day going around from house to house for the superintendent scholars, just handing them their certificates and their cards and celebrating with their parents individually, since we couldn't have an actual program. And so there's been lots of things like that throughout. And so it's not unique to Greenville, but when we get to do it, it's even more special, because I was so excited to see so many of my kids and seniors that I quite possibly won't get to see ever again. And so after graduation, so to be able to go to their homes and celebrate with their families individually was such an honor. And so, and we're just trying to do everything we can to make it as special until the very last day that we can do.
And you are. And by the way, I like the cap.
Thank you very much. I think this is, if Coach Duke is watching, I think this is 2 seasons old. They change hats every single year. This is my favorite by far.
What is your favorite?
Yeah. So,
well, it looks good on you. You are representing very well. I knew immediately you were for Greenville ISD. So we're so thankful for you and all the things that are happening and the things that you are doing and the way that you guys are overcoming. Is there anything that you want to share with the parents or with the kids right now on this forum?
Absolutely. There's so many questions about what's going to happen next school year. How are we going to start school? What is going to be the plan? And unfortunately, I don't have any breaking news. We just don't know at this point. What we've done, we've sent out a survey to our teachers and staff, as well as a survey to all of our parents, to really see what they're thinking, to see where their minds are at. One of the options were come back to school as normal. If we're able to, obviously, or possibly have, if we're having to do social distancing. The issue is we hire 1 teacher per 22 kids, especially at the elementary level. And so if we have to do for summer school, for example, the governor said we can have summer school in person, but it's 1 teacher to every 10 kids. So if we have to do that during the regular school year, there's no way we can have a full day of school.
No.
It may be half days, it may be some online, some in person. It's going to be a variety. And we're not sure what the governor's call is going to be at that time. We're not sure what the virus will look like at that time, especially in our community. And so at this point, we're just gathering as much data. My staff is working to really create a plan for every possible scenario. So we kind of tease ourselves and say, most of us are working on a plan that we're going to have to throw out because we're only going to actually do one of these things, but we have to be prepared.
You be prepared
for any of the scenarios. So we're really, hopefully we'll be able to announce sooner than later what we're going to be doing as a district. Ideally, I would love for us to open up and go back to normal. I miss people, I especially miss kids, and it's just, no one's having fun during this environment. I think the kids probably the first extra week of spring break, they were like, oh, this is pretty cool. But I think afterwards they kind of realized, oh, wait, this isn't so fun after all.
Well, yeah, because they couldn't go anywhere. Exactly. I think it would have been different if they could have just gone anywhere. But we got to stay home.
Yeah, we're at home. Yeah. And they're giving us work to do while we're here. So
that is so right. That is so right. Now, if you ask the students, I think half days of school, I think would be sufficient for the students. They would be like, yes, that's, as a mom, whenever I hear 10 students per teacher, I think, wow, our kids are going to get some extra care. But we also have to think about what comes along with that. You have to have more classrooms. You have to have more teachers. There's more that has to be made available, which requires money. Then passes down through our taxes. And so we have to really be realistic on what is it that we want our schools to look like. And, there's a lot of options out there. I have some friends that are in education, and I know one of the things is year-round schools, 6 weeks on, 3 weeks off. You're looking at online learning, you're looking at half days. There's a lot of things that you guys are having to weigh the checks and the balances. How is that going to work?
Indeed.
And like you said, it may come down to it's to start school, and we're not doing any of those things. We're doing something totally different because that's what the governor says. And so we thank you guys for being flexible. We thank you guys for, just making the best out of a hard situation. And so we honor you for that.
We do.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
And so graduation is happening on the 29th.
This Friday
in a couple of days.
What time this Friday, Doctor?
8 p.m.
8 p.m. And that is at the stadium.
At the stadium.
At the stadium.
Cotton Stadium, yes, at Greenville High School.
That is so good.
Yes.
Although we cannot have as many people in the stands, we can have a bigger crowd than we've ever had before because you can watch from anywhere in the United States of America.
That's right.
Possibly in the world.
Invite all your friends and family to catch it live on Facebook, through GISD and through Friendly News, because we will be broadcasting that, and you can. Let's knock it out. Let's throw some numbers that are
stadium.
Ridiculous. Invite everyone. No one has to miss graduation this year because we're doing it all online. And so,
thank you, Doctor.
We thank you so much.
We are going to commercial break.